the 5th of November, which means it's fireworks night, aka Guy Fawkes Day, which basically it's a British thing, but I think lots of other countries know it. But basically what it is it's a day we celebrate with fireworks and burn effigies in memoriam of a failed plot to burn up Parliament, or blow up Parliament. Now, it's a funny old story, this one, but it's never really told right. It's like told as if Guy Fawkes was just this rando terrorist who just thought out of the blue one day, you know what, I'm gonna kaput up Parliament. But no, that's far from entirely true. It was a lot more people than just Guy Fawkes involved in the plot. He wasn't even a major figure in the entire thing. He wasn't even meant to be there on the night. It was a large-scale operation, and he was just one single lackey in it, basically. And also, it wasn't an out-of-the-blue attack. It wasn't a reasonless attack. Guy Fawkes was Catholic. Catholics at the time either forced to convert or were executed. And I'm far from a Catholic sympathiser me, but when you are fighting against oppression, necessaries have to be made. Guy Fawkes only did what he did because if he hadn't taken out his aim was to kill the current government and king. If he hadn't done that, he himself would have been executed alongside thousands of other people just on the religious bias of the C of E and Catholic whole situation that was going on at the time. Guy Fawkes was only trying to stop more death by killing the king and the governors who were like living and ruling almost tyrannically. They were killing anyone who wasn't their religion. They were killing anyone who disagreed with them, and Guy Fawkes was to stop these killing, tried to kill them. And it's, if you look into the numbers of people who died in that reign and the two before it, it's astounding how many were killed. And London at the time, with the positioning of the House of Parliament, realistically there wouldn't have been many, if any, collateral damages. It would have been the targets he was intended to kill, these politicians who were guilty of heinous crimes, the king, and barely anyone else. There may have been one or two innocent collateral damages, but there wouldn't have been. It's not like today how the House of Parliament is surrounded by civilian lodging and stuff, but he was only trying to save an entire religion by killing a literal dictator. He wanted to end the state of affairs in government, which had been tried diplomatically but had failed because it was a literal tyrannical dictatorship. It was an empirical empire that was killing hundreds, if not thousands, a week, was leaving bloodshed on the home soil and around the world. You know you're a bad fucking royal family when the entirety of Europe wants you dead. Think of how many plans there have been to execute monarchs backed by other European monarchs. Guy Fawkes, politically and not, I mean, bad execution, he completely failed, but politically, his ideologies were sound. He was moral in his politics. He only wanted sort of justice. He wanted to end this reign of terror, and that's exactly what it was. He wasn't a terrorist. He wasn't inciting terror. Living as a Catholic in that time, being on the ultimate risk of death, having to perform your religious ceremonies hidden or have your priest executed and have every parishioner executed, that is living in serious terror. The government were the terrorists. Guy Fawkes only was trying to end terror with his so-called act of terrorism. And we're so ill-educated on that fact, and we've been convinced that Guy Fawkes bad, Parliament good, that we go around and burn straw figures of the man, when, if anything, he was sort of a political representative for the better side. He was the one that didn't want ethnic cleansing, that didn't want religious cleansing, that didn't want an empire that would go on to slaughter half the world, basically.